another scrape right here. It's the third scrape I found within 100 yards. Had two other ones right there. Folks, this particular area is an area I've been wanting to hunt for 5 or 10 years. I just hadn't had the time. But is a section of hardwoods which is bordered by 2 parts of planted pines. And we have placed our stand right up at the point in the bottleneck, and we'll show you that in just a second. But the bucks like to scrape the edge of these planted pines. They like to stay in the thick places, and they can cut across the bottleneck and check their whole loop of scrapes. But this has just happened. We put the tree stand up about 4 or 5 days, and I'm just coming back here to check this area. They've always scraped here for years. I just hadn't had time to hunt it. But as you can tell right here, the leaves are pulled back this direction, so that means the buck is traveling this way and coming up this way by the way he's pulling the leaves out. So let's go up here and let me show you the tree stand, and we'll look at the wind direction and when we can hunt this stand. But I've been waiting to hunt this for about 4 or 5 years, and we're gonna get after it. Come on up here and let's look at the tree stand. How about that? There's a scrape right next to the tree stand right here. Folks, our tree stand is placed in the top part of the bottleneck. We've got both sets of planted pines. You've got your hardwoods, and we've placed our tree stand in the furthest point of the bottleneck. We got trails coming in from all directions, and the scrapes go all the way around. So one thing I want to check here is my compass, and I do that every time I place a tree stand up. I take my compass out. All right, and this will tell me which way that we need to hunt this stand and which way we need to approach the stand. As you can see right there, north is this direction, south, east, west. Now we're anticipating the deer coming from this direction. By looking at the way the leaves are pushed out on the scrape, it seems to be traveling in this direction, making his loop. So we don't want to hunt this on a south wind, and definitely not on an east wind. We can get by with a northwest wind, a west wind, but not an east wind or a southeast wind. So pay attention to that. Also, we'll approach our stand from this direction with the wind in our face. So what we'll be doing here is in the next few mornings is trying to find that perfect wind to hunt this stand, and then we'll get after it. I'm going to place a tarsal gland up on one of these scrapes right here and see if that'll attract the buck also. So we'll check on that wind, and we'll be back hunt this. Whether we're muzzleloader hunt or bow hunt, we have our choice.
It's not always easy to set up on a mature buck. You may hunt the woodlots, or you may set up on the edge of a field where deer are coming to feed. The field gives you visibility, but you must still be in an effective range to make the shot with a muzzle loader. And often the deer know how and where to enter a field from a safe direction. Sometimes it's necessary to set up back in the woods on travel trails or feeding areas, but you may not always see the buck you're looking for. And there may be times when all you see is does. But you can bet, if does are feeding or traveling in an area, sooner or later the bucks will show up. Before the hunt, Jackie sprays his clothing with an odor-eliminating spray. He also placed a hydrated tarsal gland over a scrape near his tree stand. Very soon after setting up, Jackie hears deer activity coming from the thick pines. A nice 9-point buck begins to make his way directly toward the tree stand position. The buck never presented a clear shot for Jackie, so instead of taking a questionable shot, he passes the buck up this time in hopes that he'll return. The buck, sensing danger, quickly exits the area. The sound of footsteps to the right proved to be that of two does passing through the hardwoods. Suddenly, to Jackie's left, the 9-point buck reappears. Perhaps this time he'll present a shot.
Man, look at this buck here. Whew, man, you gave me fits all morning long. Man, that's a good buck. 9 points. I'll tell you what, folks, we heard him grunting early this morning, and he was coming right on the edge of the hardwoods and got in the middle of the pines here. And he's got scrapes all in the middle of the pines. He's got scrapes all along this edge right here. And you could hear him all the way. He was grunting all the way up. Had some does cutting out in front of us. And finally he got right in the pines, and I could see his rack, and then he was cutting right to me. And he was coming so close to us. He probably wasn't 10 or 15 yards down there, coming right to the scrape. He must have seen me move, because he stopped right there behind that little tree, and he wasn't 10 steps. But I just didn't want to shoot through the bush because I didn't have a good shot. And if I knew he stepped out, I'd have a good broadside shot. But that's that old sixth sense. And he finally spooked and moved on out, and I couldn't get a shot. And doggone him if he doesn't come back in about an hour. He made a loop on his scrapes and was coming back the opposite direction. And here again, I was playing cat and mouse. He would come right through. I was trying to get a shot, couldn't get a shot. And I had one more place. And he came right through there, and I was able to make a good shot on him. And this is the end result of scrape hunting. This is the first cold morning we've had, and the wind was right. The wind was out of the north, and it was perfect to come here. And I've always been wanting to sit here for years and years. I've had other tree stands set up, and I could see where the bucks were cutting across. And it just makes good sense because it's a perfect funnel here. It's a little strip of hardwood in between two pine thickets right here, and the bucks seem to scrape right here along this thicket. So this is the first cold morning, and I always like to scrape hunt when I first see the scrapes being put down. So this is the end result, a nice 9-pointer. Let me get on back to the four-wheeler, and I'll get this old rascal out. But that's a great buck.